When Coca-Cola was born in 1886, it wasn't created inside a boardroom or backed by a venture capital fund. It started in a small pharmacy in Atlanta, where Dr. John Pemberton, a struggling pharmacist and wounded Civil War veteran, was desperately searching for a product that could finally turn his finances around. He knew people craved two things in that era: tonics that promised energy and refreshing drinks that offered a break from the southern heat. That simple observation became his opportunity. Pemberton realized that if he could create something that tasted good, felt uplifting, and could be marketed as a health beverage, he could tap into a massive, fast-growing consumer trend. So he crafted a syrup, a mixture of coca leaves, cola nuts, and aromatic ingredients, and took it to Jacob's Pharmacy. The business idea was straightforward: sell syrup to soda fountains, the social hubs of the time, and let them mix it with carbonated water. For just 5 cents a glass, the drink began to sell. This was Coca-Cola's first monetization plan. Pemberton didn't want to open his own shops or run a large operation. Instead, he planned to become a syrup supplier, selling concentrate in bulk to soda fountains. It meant low costs, steady demand, and a high-margin business model. But Pemberton wasn't a strong businessman. He needed help. So he brought in early partners, including Frank Robinson, the man who named it Coca-Cola and designed its iconic logo. Robinson wasn't just a partner. He was the brand's first marketer, pushing the drink through flyers and hand-painted signs. This early investor support allowed Pemberton to scale production just enough to get the drink into more locations across Atlanta. Within months, Coca-Cola began finding its market fit. People kept returning for the same flavor, the same feeling, and the same experience. The consistency of taste, something rare for that era, became a selling point. Word of mouth and local advertising drove steady demand, and Pemberton realized the drink could be much bigger than a small pharmacy tonic. But the real make-money strategy came from Asa Candler, who bought the formula and rights over time. Candler understood that Coca-Cola wasn't just a drink, it was a scalable product. He focused on 3 money-making pillars: expand distribution, boost advertising, and protect the brand. Under his leadership, Coca-Cola went from a local curiosity to a booming regional business. The foundation of Coca-Cola's billion-dollar empire was simple but brilliant. Make syrup cheaply, sell it to bottlers and fountains, build a brand people trust, and scale everywhere. And that strategy, born in a small pharmacy, became one of the most profitable business systems the world has ever seen. When Coca-Cola first started scaling, it didn't happen by accident. It happened because the company built one of the most powerful business engines the world had ever seen. A system so efficient, so repeatable, and so profitable that it turned a 5-cent fountain drink into a global empire. Let's start with pricing. Coca-Cola made a bold, almost unbelievable decision. They kept the price of a bottle fixed at 5 cents for more than 70 years. This wasn't just a price, it was a psychological anchor. Anyone, from a factory worker to a college kid, could afford it. The drink became a habit, not a luxury, and habits scale faster than any advertising budget ever could. But price alone didn't build a giant. Distribution did. Coca-Cola didn't try to deliver its own bottles or build thousands of retail outlets. Instead, they focused on what they could do best: produce the syrup. Everything else, bottling, trucking, placing coolers, reaching stores, was handed off to a growing network of independent bottling partners. This was the turning point. Coca-Cola didn't pay to expand. Partners paid for factories, trucks, warehouses, and Coca-Cola sold them the syrup. It was a perfect model. Coca-Cola scaled without spending billions. Then came franchising. The company sold bottling rights territory by territory, creating hundreds of entrepreneurs who had one mission: get Coke into every restaurant, every store, every corner shop, every vending machine. Each bottler became a soldier in the Coca-Cola army, financially motivated, locally connected, and fully invested. Then came a hidden force, network effects, before tech companies even existed. The more places people saw Coca-Cola, the more they trusted the brand. The more they trusted the brand, the more stores wanted to stock it. The more stores stocked it, the more consumers expected it. Coke became part of daily life, not by chance, but by visibility. And then came partnerships. Coca-Cola struck deals with movie theaters, diners, railways, sports stadiums, anywhere large crowds gathered. Being the exclusive drink in those locations meant millions of new drinkers automatically tried Coca-Cola without thinking twice. Each partnership was a direct pipeline to revenue. And finally, the company mastered retail strategy. Coca-Cola didn't just place products, they placed experiences. Ice-cold coolers, vending machines, branded fridges, displays, holiday campaigns. Coca-Cola didn't wait for customers to look for them. The brand walked straight into their daily routine. When all these engines collided, pricing, distribution, partnerships, franchising, retail dominance, and massive visibility, Coca-Cola's revenue didn't grow linearly, it exploded. From small-town millions to nationwide tens of millions to global billions. Coca-Cola scaled because it didn't chase customers. It built a system where customers couldn't avoid it. That's not just growth. That's architecture. A growth machine engineered to dominate the world one bottle at a time. When you look at Coca-Cola today, it's easy to see a simple drink. A red can, a familiar logo, a sweet fizzy taste. But behind that simplicity is one of the most powerful competitive machines ever built in business. A machine designed to make it almost impossible for competitors to win. The first weapon? Supply chain power. Coca-Cola doesn't just distribute drinks, it controls a global ecosystem. With thousands of bottling partners, warehouses, trucks, and local distribution hubs, Coke has built a physical network that reaches deep into rural towns, crowded cities, airports, stadiums, and corner stores. For a competitor, matching that reach is like trying to build a second highway system across the entire world. It's practically impossible. Then there's proprietary power, their patents, formulas, and production methods. The Coca-Cola formula is famously secret, but more importantly, the company has decades of packaging, bottling, and syrup production know-how that competitors can't replicate. Even when other cola companies tried to mimic the taste, they couldn't copy the feel, the carbonation profile, or the consistency across 200 countries. Coca-Cola turned its recipe and production efficiency into an unbreakable moat. Next comes brand loyalty, another weapon competitors underestimated. Coca-Cola isn't just a drink, it is nostalgia, celebration, family gatherings, holidays, sports events, summer vacations. The brand is woven into emotional moments. When customers choose based on emotion, competitors aren't fighting for market share, they're fighting for memories, and memories are extremely hard to replace. But Coca-Cola didn't stop there. The company aggressively pursued exclusive deals with fast food chains, cinemas, airlines, stadiums, schools, and event organizers. Each exclusivity contract was like taking territory on a battlefield. And then came M&A moves, strategic acquisitions that eliminated rising threats before they became serious. Coca-Cola bought brands in water, juice, tea, coffee, sports drinks, and energy drinks. Instead of competing with every challenger, Coke simply added them to the empire. Powerade, Dasani, Minute Maid, Costa Coffee. Each acquisition absorbed potential competitors and expanded Coca-Cola's presence in new categories. Perhaps the most brilliant strategy of all? Production efficiency at scale. Coca-Cola syrup is cheap to produce. Bottlers produce locally, lowering costs. Distribution is optimized down to the kilometer. Marketing is global, but customized locally. This efficiency means Coca-Cola can make money even in regions where margins are thin, a luxury most competitors don't have. Put all these advantages together: supply chain dominance, proprietary formulas, brand loyalty, exclusivity deals, acquisitions, and hyper-optimized production, and you get a business fortress. A fortress so strong that many competitors were pushed out not by aggression, but simply because they couldn't keep up with a system this massive, this efficient, and this emotionally powerful. Coca-Cola didn't win the cola wars by chance. It won because it built a competitive machine designed to dominate every shelf, every fridge, every stadium, and every moment where thirst exists. When people look at Coca-Cola, they see a drink, a bottle, a logo. But behind that simple product lies one of the most profitable money machines ever engineered. A system so efficient, so recurring, and so deeply embedded into global habits that it practically prints cash every single day. Let's start with the core question. Where does Coca-Cola